So welcome back. We're gonna go ahead and do our standing stretches, and then we're gonna get into our strength exercises. I'm going to use the wall back behind me to do the standing stretches. So I'm just gonna make sure that I give you good instructions so that way you guys can go ahead and follow along. The first standing stretch we're gonna do is the calf stretch. And so you can go ahead and rest your hands out in front of you, maybe at chest or shoulder level against the wall. I like to stand pretty close to the wall and then take a big step back with one foot. You're gonna make sure that you're driving that heel down into the floor. The toe should be pointed straight forward. You should feel that stretch in the lower portion of the back of your leg. And then you're gonna bring your weight forward into that front leg as much as you need to for a good stretch. Just don't let that knee go past your toe. Okay, I hold these for about 20 to 30 seconds on each side. And typically we do 2 sets, but I'm gonna just show you the one so you get an idea of what the stretches are. And then you can go back and do the other one on your own, the other set. So I'm switching sides. And essentially I just step forward towards the wall again. I step back, a nice big step with the other leg, driving that heel into the floor, making sure that your toes are pointed straight forward. And I encourage people to look back and just check their foot, because sometimes it feels like your foot is straight and then you see it and it's turned out to the side, and that's just kind of how you're used to positioning your foot, and so it feels normal to you. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's straight. Okay, so those are the calf stretches. And then I'm gonna show you the overhead stretch, and I'm gonna angle myself so that you can see what's going on. I'm gonna position my body nice and close to the wall. I'm gonna make sure that I'm right up on the corner here, and I'm gonna place my forearm against the wall and just walk my fingers up. And this is based on your range of motion, so don't force anything. It shouldn't be painful, but you're gonna get as high as you can comfortably, straighten out at the elbow as much as you can comfortably, and then make sure that that shoulder is dropped down towards your hip. So don't yank that shoulder up towards your ear. Keep your neck nice and relaxed, and you should feel this stretch in your armpit. And again, you're holding for about 20 seconds, making sure that you're nice and strong in that standing posture. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and do the other side. So you want to make sure that you're nice and close to the wall on this one specifically, and then walking those fingers up just to whatever is comfortable for you, working within a pain-free range of motion. And if you're really tight, sometimes you'll feel yourself leaning back. Just relax out of this stretch. You're not forcing anything, you just want to feel maybe a little intensity. Okay, so that was the overhead stretch. I'm going to demonstrate the pec stretch here as if I have an invisible wall in front of me, just so that way you can see what's going on. So I'm actually going to position my elbow at about shoulder height, and imagine that the wall is right here. So only my forearm is on the wall, my elbow is right on the edge, and I'm standing far enough away that I'm not having to lean into the arm, and I'm not like too far away, and that I've just got my forearm on the wall but not my elbow. So putting your arm against the wall, and I'll show you another version here in a second. So you're taking that inside foot and you're gonna step forward and you're gonna bring the body in front of that arm. The elbow should travel back behind you and you should feel your chest opening in here, okay? Again, if you're really tight in the chest, you're gonna feel it kind of pulling you back. Just ease out of this stretch. You shouldn't feel any pinching in your spine or along the back or in the shoulder blades. It means that you're going too far into that stretch and you're having to compensate, okay? So you should just feel a nice stretch in the chest, turning that head away, and you can kind of rotate the chest away as well to open up and lengthen that, increase that stretch. Okay, so now I'm going to show you against the wall what that should look like. So I am putting my elbow right on the edge, making sure that my forearm is resting against the wall. And then I'm taking that inside foot and I'm stepping forward, so my body is actually coming forward and my elbow is going back behind my back, and I'm just letting the chest open up. Notice that I'm not leaning back into this stretch. I'm also not leaning forward into this stretch. I'm trying to keep my body nice and high. And again, you can turn away from that stretch and make it a little bit more intense. But just listen to your body. You shouldn't be forcing anything, and none of this should be painful. Okay, so those were our standing stretches. Now I'm going to show you our strength exercises. We're just going to do the foundational movements. These are things that we do to kind of build strength in those weaker muscles. So that way when you really start getting into your strength exercises, those things that are more demanding, you have the support from those smaller muscles. So we're going to start with our arms in a goalpost position. So we're going to work our rotator cuff right now. From here, you're going to rotate those forearms down towards the floor until they're parallel, and then you're going to bring the hands back up. Your goal is that your elbows should not be shifting, so they stay at shoulder height and they stay out to the side. So the two things that you don't want to see, you don't want to see your elbows starting to drop as you bring those arms forward, okay? And you also don't want to see your arms move forward as you bring those forearms forward. So really trying to minimize any movement that's going on in here and just getting good rotation. We're going to start with 10. 10 is kind of our magic number. And then as you get more endurance, as these muscles get stronger, then you can build up your reps or you can add a set. We're just going to do one set for today. It's nice to just slowly introduce the body to fitness. It's safer, it keeps you from getting injured or getting too sore. And if you're really just getting back into things, you just want to start out easy and slowly introduce new things. So that was our rotator cuff. We're going to do in and out of the bathtub. So for this one, I'm going to stand back just a little bit more so you can see my feet entirely. This one, you're going to lift your knee up nice and high as if you're going over a hurdle. And then you're going to follow it up with that second foot, making sure that you're standing hip width apart. Okay. You want to make sure that your core is nicely engaged for this one, so you're trying not to tip. You want everything to happen in the legs. And I actually give myself a little bit of a squat forward here, so that way I'm really working those glute muscles, because that's what we're trying to strengthen. They're very important when we start doing our leg exercises. So this is a nice, easy way to get them engaged and working again. So again, magic number is 10. We're just going to work our way sideways, back and forth for 10 reps on each side, making sure that that core is engaged. And I'll do a few from the side just so you can see what's happening at my hips. So I am giving myself a little bit of a squat here as I'm stepping up and over. My back is nice and straight. My core is engaged to support my spine. And you should really start feeling some heat building up kind of in that outer hip area. Then I'm just going to do one more time back and forth. Okay, for our last exercise, we're going to do calf raises. And I'm going to do them here, and I'll do it from a couple of different angles so you can really see what's going on. What you're trying to do is lift up, straight up, into the ball of your foot, and you're aiming for the big toe. You don't want to let the feet curl out to the side. It's not good for your ankles. So lifting straight up, coming up onto the ball of your foot, making sure you're towards your big toe. And you can use a wall here, okay, for extra support in case you don't have the balance. This way you can really focus on keeping your weight in towards those big toes. So and what I mean by that is you don't want to roll towards those pinky toes, okay? So it really puts a lot of strain on the outside of your ankles. So, and then I'll do a few from the side so you can kind of see what my range of motion is. So what you're trying to do is getting your foot more or less pointed straight down towards the floor. Okay, lifting those heels as high as you can, but essentially you want that front part of your foot nice and flat if you can get there. So just do the best you can, but that's the goal. And we'll go ahead and do one more. Again, doing about 10 reps to start, but you can build yourself up to 15, and you can also build yourself up to 2 sets. But those are our standing stretches and our strength exercises. So thank you for joining us, and I'll see you in the next video.